Welcome back to another edition of Hey USA. My name is Nick Garcia. I'm the senior reporter for Play USA, and joined with me, as always, Mr. Brant James, the man, the myth, the legend, the lead writer for Play USA. Brant, how are we doing today?
Doing very well today, Nick. How are you?
It's going to be a beautiful day. The Bears-Steelers today, so you got some Monday Night Football magic. I am hoping the Bears can pull one out, but, it's going to be kind of tricky against Big Ben and co.
Well, they are the Bears, so you stay tuned and stay prepared for anything.
So what do we got to chat about today? What's in your notebook right now?
Well, I was on a little business junket, personal junket this weekend, and I was able to stop by my ancestral homeland in the Maryland area. It doesn't have legal sports betting yet. It's coming soon, but I was able to duck into the District of Columbia and knock D.C. off my legal sports betting list. And just because I'm a glutton for punishment, I got in the rental car and drove across the river into Crystal City and found a nice little sports bar there for some Saturday afternoon college football. And nice. I was able to click Virginia off of my list too. And because I know that you keep track of this in your little journal, there's 29 jurisdictions in the U.S. of A. With legal sports betting currently underway, and I'm up to 12. So big shout out to Delaware, D.C., Florida. Still stunned by that one. Illinois, Iowa, Mississippi, Nevada, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West by God, Virginia. Coming for the rest of you, but it's going to be tough to get to Montana, North and South Dakota.
So there is a we'll touch on this in a future episode as well, but just so our viewers know, there's a conference coming up in New Jersey at the end of this month, and we are hoping if the logistics work out and everything that we could get down to Connecticut, and cross off Connecticut on the list. But we'll keep our viewers posted on that for a future date. But that's in the works.
It's coming. I've even got the little exit off the highway where we're just gonna duck in and duck right out like little renegades.
So for the most part, today's episode, we got another guest coming in, Alec Cunningham. Going to talk a little bit about Tennessee. But before we get into that, is there anything else on your radar right now?
I'm working on something pretty interesting about the future of DraftKings and maybe FanDuel in the state of Nevada. So hopefully that'll be posted, and the link will be down below, so you can just click and click and click again. I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Nice. Myself, I got a little working on the future of horse racing in Illinois. I mean, we're down to 2 tracks now. One of them, as you know, Arlington Racecourse was sold to the Chicago Bears. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if horse racing can survive this. A lot of people think that it can. So be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit more once that's posted. How about we get Alec on here and we talk some Tennessee. Joining us by phone is Alec Cunningham, lead writer for Play 10. That's Play TENN. Alec, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Better now talking to you guys.
That's good.
Thanks for being around. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So we wanted to have you on today to kind of touch a little bit about what's going on in Tennessee. We know that it's like one of the mobile-only states. So can you kind of just give us a rundown? How are things looking from the sports betting side of things there in Tennessee?
Yeah, so Tennessee is constantly fun, and September's been one of the most exciting months for Tennessee. So going back to now, Tennessee just celebrated its 1-year sports betting anniversary on November 1st. But those numbers won't be in for a couple more weeks. September numbers just released about a week ago now, and the September revenue report looks very pleasant for the state after the summer slumps of July and August. September saw NFL football kicking into full swing, and then MLB baseball shifting into postseason play. In Tennessee particularly, excitement over the Titans, Vols, and the Braves. continued building, and that resulted in Tennessee sports bettors wagering a record-setting $257 million during the month. And this new monthly record topped the state's previous January high by a full $46 million. But even more impressive than that, those numbers outpaced the state's first month of wagering back in last November by more than $125 million. So after September's success, Tennessee is now very much still on track to eclipse $2 billion in bets within the state's first year of activity. So that would make them the fifth quickest state to accomplish such a feat. And to do so, Tennessee bettors would need to have placed $40.4 million in wagers during the month of October. And with the Braves recently becoming World Series champs, woo woo, and the Titans getting off to such a surprising, successful season start, Tennessee likely has no problem wagering above and beyond that mark and getting to $2 billion in wagers by the end of November.
Sounds like they enjoy betting on sports there in Tennessee.
Yes, apparently.
It's really interesting to see this happening because you can go across the Mississippi River to West Memphis and there's casinos there. But really, what we've heard before Tennessee launched was there was really no gambling foundation or legacy there. What have you found to be, well, other than they really like to bet on sports? what is the the character of the feel of sports betting in Tennessee? And do you think that the thoughts on gambling in general have changed among the populations? Will we eventually one day, you think, see casinos in Nashville or something like?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I was actually just talking about that the other day. Nashville would be a great place for some, just some pop-up little places for casinos, and we have the need and the want for it here. And I think with sports betting showing that need is there and doing so well for the community, I think it'll only be a matter of time until casinos come. But people are starting to really embrace sports betting around here, and especially with our local teams doing so well. And since Tennessee doesn't have any MLB team, then we're big Braves fans around here. Yeah. So sports betting has you can't drive down the highway without seeing a billboard, anything like that. So it's everything around here now.
Nice. What kind of things are you following, like, at the moment? Are you writing anything special, or what are you focusing on right now?
Well, personally, I am super excited about the Titans season, and I know that the Derrick Henry saga has been a heartbreak for a lot of people, but it seems to have turned an interesting corner, especially after last night.
Yeah, blowing out the Rams will definitely help you turn every corner. Every time that Stafford went around the corner, there was a Tennessee guy mashing him. So that was
I am been very surprised about that as well. I love Derrick Henry. He's on my fantasy team, but as soon as he went down, I was like, oh man, their season's done. But it seems like they just haven't missed a beat. So, I mean, I should give them credit where credit's due.
Yes, exactly. Those who thought the Titans were only as good as their star running back were in for a huge rude awakening.
Yeah.
Vrabel did not miss a beat, though. He traded one legend for another. Derrick Henry for Adrian Peterson, and then that combined with Tannehill's throwing success, and then this newfound defensive effort that they've been showing. I think it will do quite a good job at balancing out the loss of Henry.
Typically, when do the numbers for Tennessee come out? When would you have an idea on if the state's able to eclipse that 2 billion mark?
Yeah, so that's not going to be. We won't know for sure for another few weeks or so. It might come out at the end of November, or it might be right at the beginning of December.
Nice. So hopefully they can knock that out. Well, before we let you go, Brant, do we have any other pressing questions to ask Alec here?
Yeah, I actually had a question that she led into beautifully. I end up driving through Tennessee a couple times a year to get to the in-laws' house, and I forget that the highway that goes from the east side to the west side, Nashville, and up. But it seems like all the billboards are either guns, as you get within 50 miles of Nashville. It's guns, the Johnny Cash Museum, or a sports book. So my question is, how prevalent on local TV are the sports book ads, especially on game weekends? Is it, is it just one after another? And are the folks finding it obnoxious, or are they just used to it? Do they go stay in the bathroom a little extra longer? How's that being handled?
There are a lot of ads for it. I'll tell you, the other day I was shifting through channels, just flipping through, and I found a DraftKings infomercial, and I sat there and I watched it, and it's still new enough to be interesting, as much as they're just kind of shoving it down our throats around here. People are still loving it, so it's, with all of the different sports books to choose from, like, they keep it fresh. It's fun. It's still fun, and I think people are enjoying it. They're still learning about betting, and it's they're learning how to do it, and they're enjoying that kind of camaraderie, the community around it.
That's, to me, one of the most interesting things about the sports betting culture there, and that there just wasn't any legal, and there was no legacy of it. And it's fascinating to watch it, and obviously why watching all those dollars go into onto those apps. Folks are into it.
I'd be interested to find out if there's more ads during a Volunteers game on Saturday or a Titans game on Sunday, or if it's the same. Like, are you going to see the same amount of ads regardless of who's on TV? So that'd be pretty interesting during the Predators game, even. We'll see. Well, Alec, thank you so much for being with us. Once again, that's Alec Cunningham, lead writer for Play 10. Thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great Monday.
Thanks again, Alec Cunningham from Play 10. Good stuff. Fascinating stuff going on in Tennessee. Like I said, I drive through there a couple times a year. I was not kidding about the Johnny Cash billboards. You should actually go to that. It's very, very cool. But don't take your guns, but you can take your mobile app. So, all right, we're caught up on Tennessee. Now we got to catch up on Nick. Nick, what are you working on that I'm going to need to click and read this week?
Oh, well, I mean, it's never too early to start talking about the Super Bowl. So working on a few kind of just fun, Super Bowl things. It's going to be in that massive stadium that is home to the LA Rams and the LA Chargers. So kind of doing a little fun little piece on ranking the top teams that have won the Super Bowl in California. So just kind of going back, kind of, doing a little thing like that. And then one of the last things I'm working on is what is the premier conference in football to win Super Bowl? Is it primarily NFC or primarily AFC? So kind of just doing some fun stuff this week. I know that we got a holiday coming up, so kind of keeping it light and then diving into the meat and potatoes of things later on in the month. So, kind of just keeping it kind of fun this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's about, the fun. I thought we were all about the meatballs.
All about the meatballs, yeah.
You can have more.
Yeah, that's me.
Right. Yeah. Very good. You know what I'm working on? Figuring out the DraftKings and FanDuel thing, and just happy to have added a couple more jurisdictions to the big list. And now, we're planning Connecticut, but I got to see if I can find a bus that'll take me to the Great Plains and the Dakotas.
Yeah, that'll be good. Well, with that, everyone, again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Follow us on Twitter. Follow, subscribe. And with that, you know what to do.
Your booze never moves. It's always
my arm?
The same amount of booze.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
This is the special reserve. You don't just crack this open for anything.
You throw that in a Diet Coke, man.